Dream, and they're both going.
Okay. Morning, everyone. This is episode 297 of the OotiniCast. Episode 300 is looming ever closer. So, yes. Yes, we have something completely unplanned for that. I can guarantee that. Let's see. Got a new guest today. Chill will introduce her, and our good friend Blay is with us as well. So I was almost going to say something political. I'm not going to. Congratulations to the US on having its latest president, etc. We'll see. So, yes. I only wish we could say we had a new Prime Minister, because that would be a really good thing.
Yeah, same.
Seems like no one's happy right now, apparently.
Our government's fairly harmless, typically, so it's never really a big deal. Okay, so we won't mess around, because we do want to get this done, because we're going to do some shopping. And, yes, I need to tweet, and then we will go. So... Okay. You ready to roll, Chill? Just putting out the tweet now. Tweeted. All right, let's do this.
Before we get too started,
yes.
Is it? So I know for you it's tomorrow in terms of what day this normally runs.
It is very much Saturday. Yes.
Okay. Chill, for you, is this a different day to what it normally runs on?
It's Friday night. Friday afternoon.
Yes. Normally we record my Thursday. This is now my Friday afternoon.
Okay, so I'm the only person who's actually doing this on the same day.
Well, only for another 15 minutes, Blay.
I just want to check, that's all.
That's great.
Time. It's an illusion, apparently. So, all right. Chill, did you put yourself back into studio mode?
I can double check, but I think so. Do I sound
just
normal?
No, you sound fine. I just wanted to confirm, given that we
check.
were in and out.
I thought I did, but let me double check.
I better make sure I'm recording the right device now. I think that.
Thank you. Yeah, actually, it was different. So let me also make sure
why?
this is the right level. Okay. Yes, thank you. Good call, by the way. Yeah, I had to restart that so many times. I finally forgot one.
No worries at all.
Okay, if everyone's good to go, yeah, I'll get us rolling. Going in 5. Hi, and welcome to the OotiniCast, the podcast that makes 10 men feel like 100. This is episode 297, being recorded on Friday, January 20th, 2017. I'm your host, Chill, with our producer and co-host, Tio. Hi, Tio.
Hey, guys.
And we have 2 guests today. We have Blay back, but first we've got a new guest, Liba Rojas. So, Liba, what you been up to? Tell us a little bit about yourself, how you play the game, and all that good stuff.
Hey guys, well, I'm a Kiwi, and no, that's not the same as Australia for all you Americans.
They do tend to get us confused, it's true.
Very. I haven't been able to play much recently. A friend got me into SWTOR though many years ago. I think it was just after 2.0 launched. Okay. Came to the Harbinger mid last year and have been playing with Utini ever since.
Cool.
Haven't been able to play much recently because my computer decided to pack a shit on... Oops, sorry, Tigger. My computer decided to pack a sad on Boxing Day and I haven't been able to get Windows reinstalled on it yet.
Right.
I've been borrowing a friend's computer though when I've been able to and playing with Chill, confusing him.
Yes.
Apparently Kiwi accents don't translate well.
I think it's the vowels.
Well, then how do you explain gold getting translated into boned?
That's weird. Anyway.
Yes. But I've been, in lieu of playing, I've been watching the YouTube recordings of you guys when you first were starting on YouTube.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, it's actually quite fun.
Oh, those were the days with our good friend Hypnotoad.
Yes, we did it on his advice and haven't looked back.
So been having a bit of fun there, seeing how the show's changed. And I've also there's a AI bot that Dekion put into our Discord channel.
Oh, yeah.
And I've actually managed to go back to the roots of it, and I'm doing some beta testing for it.
Oh, cool.
So
Nice. What's the bot actually do? Just greet people as they come in, that kind of thing?
no, you can see how the load of any given server, what the DVL alignment is, all that sort of thing.
Oh, cool.
Slick.
Very nice, actually. Yeah, cool.
And how do you like to play SWTOR? What sort of things do you like to do in the game?
At the moment, it's usually solo play, but that's just because, or relatively minor group content, because my computer doesn't like playing much more than that. But I want to get into more group content soonish, hopefully.
Cool.
It's just a question of getting a better rig.
Yeah.
All right. And is there any special moment in SWTOR that you like really well, part of the story, or just something that happened in the game that was really awesome?
You put me on the spot, Jill. No,
That's
I
what I
can't think
do.
of anything.
Okay, well, who's your favorite class then, and why?
It got to be the Merc. I don't know, because it's ranged, but you don't have to crouch and move and crouch and move.
Right, you can keep moving. Yep. I'm enjoying that a lot on Chili Quinn. So, yeah, it is a very mobile class, which is nice. So I appreciate that. All right. Thanks. It's fun having you on, and yeah, especially since we've been playing a fair bit together recently. So.
That we have.
Yeah. And Blay, how have you been, and what have you been up to the last few weeks?
I'm good. I haven't been in game that much.
Okay.
Just taking a bit of a break from the game. I think,
And that's a good thing.
Yeah, there's nothing
Healthy.
wrong with that. Yeah, especially when I did pretty much every single heroic and daily in the space of 2 days in order to try and produce a spreadsheet. It kind of burnt me out after
Indeed. And
after 2.5 days.
well done on that spreadsheet, by the way. And
Thank
I
you.
was just curious. I seem to recall you took a lot of characters through Kotfi. A lot of characters.
Yes.
Just how many roughly?
11, I reckon, through coffee.
And what about Kotet? You more than just the one?
2. Only
Okay.
2.
9 to go. Come on. What you doing?
I could take them all through, especially I play the majority of my time on the Imperial side. I don't tend to play a lot of the Republic side. So I could take all of them through and just do it. So far, I've only taken my sniper through because whenever I streamed, so I used to stream all of the new chapters when they came out.
Yep.
Pretty much on the night that they came out as well.
Yep.
And I always did it on my sniper. I never ever did it on my main character, Blay. Purely because it was a DPS character and trying to get through the content was a lot faster on DPS than trying to take it through on a healer.
Right, sure.
Right.
But then when it came to Kotet, I actually streamed it on... I don't think it was Blay. I think I streamed on my Assassin. I think I took it through the first time. And the reason why I made that decision was purely because I felt that the story is very, very Force user-based. And not particularly... Well, it's not that I felt it wasn't suitable for a non-Force-based character. I just felt it was more suitable for a Force-based character. So I just streamed that
Right, the
one
story.
instead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Since then, actually, I might have done it on 3, because I know I've done it on Blay, and I think I've done it on my sniper as well. So it might be in 3 characters I've actually done it. So yeah, it's just another 8 to do when I get the time. And I think the 10 or 11 I've actually done are only the ones I've actually completed coffee on. I've got a number which are up to chapter 14 as well. beyond that.
Okay.
Excellent.
So, yeah, for the last 2 weeks, I've really been sort of looking at, I still love the game, and I am going to come back to the game. There's absolutely no chance I'm going to drop the game and never ever come back. I'm obviously going to come back because I do really, really love it. But I think when I come back, I think the first thing I'm going to end up doing is looking for a new guild. And it's not because there's anything, I love my guild. I've been in the guild for 4 years, but at the moment now, there's no one logging on. It's effectively, you can log on and just be there on your own. So I think when I come back, I'll probably be looking for a guild. I don't want to join one of these guilds that's absolutely massive and you're just another number in the part of 1,000. I quite like the small guilds, but smaller, friendly guild, semi-active, but not one of these guilds that push you into, right guys, this week we've all got to do conquest, and if you don't do fill your conquest, then we're going to kick you. I'm not.
Oh, wow.
I'm not going to come back and be. Yeah,
I guess it must be. Yeah.
Yeah, there have been rumours of people getting kicked from guilds for not completing their conquest totals. So I just want to come back and just play happy, really. Just enjoy my gameplay again.
That sounds fantastic, Blay. Awesome idea. There's always the Utini guilds if you did want to transfer over to the US side of things.
Yeah, I think the only thing that would be the problem with that is the time zones. Would there be people on when I'm on? But yeah.
You are in a crazy part of the world.
What, in the centre?
Whatever.
I think
better being on the arse than the rest of us.
I think you find my time zone is the centre one.
Well, it is, in fact.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Okay, fine.
Awesome. All right, and Tio, how about your week?
Well, firstly, I'll just mention the reason that we're recording a day later than usual is it's all my fault. So just to be 100% clear, because I had to work yesterday. I usually work 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday, but it's crunch time on our project. I'm a software engineer architect, and I had a problem I had to solve, and so it was absolutely 100% critical, and yes, anyway. Happy ending to that story. I did find the problem and solve it, but
Nice.
It did mean I had to work on Friday. So, but that's okay. I'll have that off in lieu sometime in the future.
Was there a race condition?
No, actually, I just had a Boolean, the test the wrong way round. Who would have thought? It's just a really obscure case. It's kind of embarrassing, and it's a little more complex than it seems. Actually, no, it's just a straight fuck up, so... Yes, it is kind of embarrassing in retrospect, but anyway, I found it and fixed it. Just a very rare case. Whatever. Right, so anyway, back to Star Wars. This week, I did order myself one of these guys. It is a Lego kit from Rogue One, the droid K2SO.
Nice.
And unlike my BB-8, which I kept in a box for a long, long time, I have actually opened it, but I haven't actually built it yet. So I will make that and put him somewhere around here, or even maybe on my desk at work or something. We'll see. So that's kind of cool. In Star Wars The Old Republic, I did actually play did some dailies, did the CZ198, but that's more or less all I've got around to so far. Again, as I mentioned, life is busy. And the other thing I wanted to mention was an idea I had for Uprisings. Now, as you know, they were going to have a solo version, but at some point they decided we want to emphasize group content, because group content is important, and so they eliminated the solo mode from Uprisings. They must now be done in 4-mans. So I would like them to bring back that solo mode a lot, because I think we should have more things for solo players to do when they don't have time to get a group, or don't want to find a group, just want to get through it themselves. But rather than do it the other way they've done with the solo modes with a GSI droid, a Jesus droid, what about letting us fill out a group with our companions? We know that in Kotfi and Kotet there are various places where you can have more than one companion out at a time. So why not let you build a group, and you would have to level or rank them all up individually so that they have the appropriate level of power, but build out a group with 3 companions. So you make a 4-man with you and 3 companions. Seems like a really cool idea, and a way to actually engage us with our however many companions in our companion army that we have at the moment, and give us a reason to rank up more than one for us non-crafters on a given character. And the same could apply to flashpoints, and maybe even if we have some sort of scalable version of operations, you could do it with operations as well. Anyway, just a crazy idea. I would just like to see more things for solo players to do in the game. Anyway, just something to think about. Anyway, that's my week. Over to you, Chill.
All right. First, a shout out to the chat room. And thanks to everyone for coming on this unusual day and time. Anog is here, Avenged Maximus, Blay is here, Darksplat, Deathrow, Dekion, Dreadex, Fiona, Gahana, Eleva, Loken, Zaro, my name is Swaft, Shadowbolt444, Siska, and Weirlock. Thanks everyone. And let's see, once again, worked on getting CXP on Chili Quinn. She's got 3 set pieces now, but hasn't really gotten anything for a number of levels. So PvP still fun and interesting. Didn't do a ton of it this week, but still like it when I get into it. And I'm also starting to work on Star Fortresses, and I've been doing that with Aliba Roja.
That's Fortress I, Chill.
Yes, exactly. Plural. We've only gotten through the first, though, so we have more to do there. So, sort of outside the game, but Star Wars related, I did listen to The Princess Diarist by Carrie Fisher, which is read by her on Audible, although for a little bit towards the end, they have someone else read from her actual diaries that she wrote at the time. So this would be 76, 77 during the filming period. So the book isn't just about that little period of time when they're filming. It's about her whole life, but from sort of the point of view of Star Wars, Leia, the role, the follow-on effects and so on. So it's all about how Leia has sort of affected and shaped her life from even before she got in the role, how she got the role through the filming, the reception afterward, and so on. It was for a Star Wars fan, lots of interesting stories from that. Of course, she's also she's also witty, as she always is, as anyone knows who's read her other works or has heard her do various public speaking and roasts and so on. Also, as is kind of pretty well known, she also goes into her affair with Harrison Ford, like how it happened, how long the affair was, how it ended. She basically just avoids the actual talk about the actual sex, basically saying that she doesn't want to give yet more fanboy fuel. Essentially, she says there's plenty of that with her bikini and so on. So, and she basically kind of lets herself and Harrison sort of off the hook. I mean, she basically doesn't lay any blame or anything. She doesn't blame him or anything, even though he was married, 33 years old, had 2 kids at the time, and she was 18 years old, 18/19. And of course divorced a couple of years after this period of time. So she basically lets him off the hook for all of that. Still, I can kind of understand it. It's been a long time, and you don't exactly, who wants to look back at a, period of your life and just feel horrible about it, especially since, you're going to be talking about this in front of potentially millions of people. Anyway, so it was a very good book to listen to, and there's a few moments where I was literally laughing out loud, not just finding things amusing, but actually laughing. And so I'd say that anyone who has heard any of our other stuff and liked it, or just wants to hear a good autobiography about Star Wars, I would say give Princess Diarist a chance. So that was good. All right, that will bring us to the tip of the week. We've got 3 tips this week, and Tio, why don't you start us off?
Our first tip is from Pandoran of the Progenitor server in the EU. And they say, many thanks for a great show every week. I do a lot of driving, and OotiniCast, the Bad Feeling podcast with Chuck and Brian, and others keep me up to speed with SWOTOR as I travel, so thanks for all the effort you guys put in. You're most welcome. My tip is regarding interface layout. I just tried this tonight and it works a treat. There are a few abilities for every class that proc, and we've explained where that term came from a long time ago, that proc from time to time. That is, they light up on your toolbar and do extra damage, extra healing, or other cool things. Why not use the interface editor to create a toolbar that just shows your abilities that can proc from time to time? I created one with 4 boxes, put the abilities in, made it twice the size of all the other toolbars, and put it somewhere where I can see the procs and click them easily at the top of my screen.
Interesting.
Having the proc effects in their own bar and doubling its size to make it easy to see makes it really easy to see when proc effects have triggered and utilize them to smash your enemies in the face. So that is a good idea, though it does indicate that the in-game representation that they use for those various procs, because there is always something, there is a sound and usually something visual on your character, for example a particular effect like flaming or something on the character's hands or whatever, but there's usually a sound and a visual trigger that are in-game, and thus you shouldn't need to do that. But I know personally, especially if I zoom out a fair distance, it's actually quite hard to see, and you can actually also miss the audio cue, particularly if you're on comms with your group.
Yes.
So yeah, this is a
yeah,
good
or
idea.
just if you're in hot and heavy PvP fighting as well, and with lots of enemies around, you're going to miss those little audio cues too.
Hot and heavy.
Sometimes for me, the sounds just don't work on my computer at all.
Right. So yeah, all kinds of reasons why this is a good idea. Just have that clear visual cue. In other games, they also have various other effects that you can. What did they call it? Auras, where you can make it really clear. Yeah. Anyway.
All right. Second tip is from Tidra. Tidra writes, Tidra here with another tip. Someone mentioned previously that Origin has a Kotet pack for $29.99 with 60 days of game time, 1,050 cartel coins, and a mount. I wanted to also share with you all of Amazon's current deal, which is 90 days of sub time, 2,400 cartel coins, and the same mount for $39.99. And since I've won at least 3 times, feel free to use this for open discussion.
We can. Fair enough. Yeah, that's a pretty cool deal, I think. $30, 30 days, 60 days of day game time. Now, that wouldn't count as a subscription, would it? That is just game time.
Yeah,
Just
I think this is
thinking
one
back-
of those codes that you can only use like every so often.
Yeah. Yeah, still, it's great value for money. So nice. All right, our third tip is from AJ, who you can find at R2D2Arm on Twitter, and Yajad on the Jedi Covenant server. Hey, Chell and Tio, my tip is in the form of a spreadsheet. Belay, you'll be all over this, to help keep track of the various command crate schematics. The spreadsheet has helped me identify quickly which schematics I can disintegrate for command XP. I do not believe there are schematics for the legendary rating items, that is rating 236 and 242. And we will include the link to his spreadsheet in the show notes. He continues, I recently hit tier 2 and I'm hoping to grab more 234 rating schematics. Really hoping that Game Update 5.1 gives life back into operations. And from all reports, you may have to wait till 5.1.1. For the extra CXP, though, obviously, we can now get the specific gear. Anyway, the Pillars of Ashlar progression team on Jedi Covenant has been waiting for operations to become a viable source of gearing and CXP. Keep up the good work as always.
Yeah, I like that tip. Plus the spreading of the spreadsheet love as well. Although I hate spreadsheets for my work, I do kind of love it for the game.
They are awesome. And if you want you don't even need Excel, you can just use Google Spreadsheets. Google Sheets. It's fantastic.
So disintegrate for CXP, does that mean because you already have one and you don't need it again? Is
Correct.
that what's going on?
And
Okay.
presumably you don't want to sell them on the GTN because I believe they are not bound. Is that correct or incorrect? I'm just trying to remember.
I thought they were bound.
I have got
but I could
schematics.
be
Maybe
wrong.
they are. Yeah.
Interesting.
But yeah,
All right.
as simple as that, Jill.
Cool. All right, by random allotment, the winner is AJ. Congratulations, AJ. You're the winner of a Tonfon or M83R Droid pet code, courtesy of BioWare, and an OotiniCast provided cartel market pack from the latest shipment. And if you'd like a chance to win the same, please send your tips to OotiniCast@gmail.com by next Wednesday. And that will bring us to the Holo feed. Tio?
A surprising amount to talk about because Eric dumped a whole bunch of posts on us just a little bit before we started recording. So for those ones, we're just going to have to kind of wing it. But earlier in the week, they did let us know, of course, about the maintenance on Tuesday, just a bit of downtime where they were maintaining their back end.
Okay.
And
the chat room is confirming that schematics are legacy bound.
Legacy bound, right. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Thank you. So there was no client patch, and this is all ahead of Game Update 5.1 next week, next Tuesday. And they have already announced a 3-hour maintenance to get that deployed during the normal window on Tuesday morning US time. We'll talk a bit more about that later. So next, we'd already mentioned that the Ranked PvP Season 7, they were delaying allocating the titles. And they have, at this point, I believe, all been applied. So if you're in the top 96 for Season 7, you should now have your correct title. There was a little bit of confusion where they kind of got some of the advanced classes a bit mixed up, but they kind of sorted all that out. So they should all be right at this point. So again, the reason that they did delay was they had to find all the users who were found to be win trading, hacking, botting, all of that. They had their Season 7 ratings wiped out on all of their characters. They've been removed from the leaderboards, and the appropriate terms of service action has been levied against those accounts. So all the way up to permanent bans, one would assume. And Eric wanted to actually explain the how is important. Eric wanted to explain a little bit why it was delayed, because it's obviously a bit since the end of Season 7. Mm-hmm. And they said they wanted to get a pretty good lock on how players were cheating, and it just took a while for them to go through the data. I believe that Eric did mention that in the last live stream. And they just wanted to be able to make sure that they were keeping up with the players, because players, once they realise how BioWare is identifying that they're cheating, will change their methods to avoid detection. And they had to just chase them down, whatever the latest means is. Cat and mouse game, well and truly. So anyway, at the moment at least, on top of that, they know how people were win trading and basically cheating in PvP and how to identify them. So until they change their methods again, well, we'll see what people do in Season 8. Alright, next, we'd heard rumours of an exploit. It had been mentioned in various places, and BioWare have come out and let everyone know what it's about. It's the Fractured Uprising, which is well known to be one of the best sources of CXP in the game at the moment. Quick and easy to do and rewards a lot of CXP. And apparently the actual exploit is a bug with the first boss, Lord Admiral. In certain situations, he will apparently instantly kill himself. Has anyone actually seen that happen?
No, but it's a funny idea.
Yeah, it is. So, just a quick Q&A. Is it an exploit to use this bug to progress quicker through the uprising? Yes. Yes, it is. Because you're using that bug to gain an unintended advantage over other players. And does it mean you're going to get banned for using it? And the answer is no. Not this time. And two reasons for this. The first is that the uprising, regardless of whether it's an exploit, is obviously one of the best sources for CXP. So people running it over and over again, they can't really tell if they're doing it because of that, it's a good source of CXP, or because they wanted to use the exploit. So you can't tell in that way. And second, it is possible the bug can trigger on its own without anyone actually doing anything. Though apparently they can identify whether they deliberately trigger it, the bug, or whether it's accidental. They still don't want to punish people who just played it and accidentally sort of triggered it. Anyway, I suspect it just got too hard, and so it's okay. The actual bug will be fixed on Tuesday in Game Update 5.1.
I wonder, kill himself, does that mean like maybe he was trying to leash back because like the only character, that it knew about vanished or something, and then instead
that he was aggroed on.
And then instead it just dies. Is that what's going on?
Usually they just return to full health. So
yeah, I know. I'm just curious
it's a weird one.
I'm just curious how this one works. It just sounds weird. So.
Once it's fixed, someone will have to tell us just how it actually happened.
Yeah. Does anybody know, is this the first time there's ever been a bug which everyone has said, this is an exploit, players have said it's an exploit, BioWare have said it's an exploit, and yet they've actually turned around and said, you know what, it is an exploit, but we're not going to punish anyone?
I thought there was one a while ago. Which one was it? The ones to do with the Ravagers, wasn't there an exploit in there? Basically, so many people were doing it that they decided not to worry about it.
Well,
because they left it for so long. Yeah.
Yes. The last boss where people just farming the last boss and just getting the pieces.
Wow, it wasn't even that long. Actually, it was a while ago, wasn't it? Now I think about it. Yeah, no wonder I can't remember.
2015 at least.
Yes. So, yeah, I guess because it's going to be fixed so soon, and again, maybe they left it a bit too long. Too many people were actually utilizing it. So, yeah. Anyway, it will be fixed on Tuesday, and I haven't heard of any other exploits recently. So, and basically, standard warning: if you hear about an exploit, don't try it yourself. If you discover an exploit, let BioWare know. Usually a PM on the official forums to Eric and or Tate to let them know, or /bug or whatever. But yes, let them know, and don't repeat it, because you could end up getting punished if they do choose to punish people this time. Alright, Game Update 5.1 coming next Tuesday. They've already announced the maintenance, as I mentioned earlier, and they will be giving back the Dark vs. Light meta achievements. Remember, they reset them all because they may run the DVL event at some time again in the future. Well, they went back on that and said, alright, we'll bring back the DVL meta achievements for the first run through. So those will be returned to you, but none of the individual achievements that were for each tier. So I assume up to 6 meta achievements will be granted.
Okay.
So if you got through it, or however far you got, you will get those as of Tuesday next week. And finally in the news... actually, I won't say that. Now, last bit of SWTOR news, Galactic Command gearing changes. That's coming in Game Update 5.1. Now, we've gone over this several times. They talked about it again in the stream last week, so the actual system itself is pretty well understood, I believe, at this point. But now they've gone through the actual details and given us some numbers to chew over. And, in fact, just a side thing, it turns out Galactic Starfighter is going to be a really good way to earn unassembled components for trading in. Who would have thought? Pretty much the same as a ranked PvP win, which is, I guess they're trying to incentivize people to play Galactic Starfighter. Whether it'll work or not, we'll see. Alright, so let's quickly summarize the new currency, command tokens. Now, we knew they were coming out of the crates, but we now know how many. For the Tier 1 crates, you will get 5 tokens. Tier 2 crates, you will get 8 tokens. Tier 3, you will get 12 tokens. The tokens are legacy-wide currency, and they will be retroactively granted based on your command rank when Game Update 5.1 launches. Now, the obvious question is, if that's based on command rank, if your command rank 300, obviously that's 300 crates. What happens if you were earning crates beyond command rank 300? Because you do still get crates after that, even though your command rank is maxed. And Eric has said that those players will be compensated. Didn't say how, but they will be compensated. Maybe they will just, based on how many crates you actually got, you'll get that many tokens. But maybe not. I guess we'll find out. So those are command tokens. Next, there's another new currency. Yeah, God, this is so confusing. Unassembled components. So command tokens and unassembled components. And this currency is a reward for playing War Zones and Galactic Starfighter. And I'm pretty sure they hadn't mentioned this part from about GSF before, but it's another kind of PvP, so I guess it makes sense. You can use unassembled components to purchase gear pieces. And we will get into how many of those you get for Warzone wins, etc. in a bit. And, well, yes, it is another new currency. We got 3. Unassembled gear pieces. These are the ones that drop from the operation bosses, or are purchased with the unassembled components and can be turned in along with command tokens for those specific pieces of gear. That is the one with set bonuses and all the rest. So last boss of each operation has a 100% chance to drop an unassembled gear piece. You get 2 in 8-man, 4 in 16-man for that last boss. Each other boss in operation has an increasing chance to drop them, the second boss having a higher chance than the first boss, and so on. So deeper in you go, more chance to get more components, and I don't think they actually ended up mentioning how many drop, what the chances is, and how many. I suspect it's just 2 per boss. That would be a reasonable guess in 8-man and 4 per boss in 16. Alright, and they have added the new vendors back in. So we've got the unassembled component vendor. That's the guy you can turn in the unassembled components for to purchase unassembled gear pieces. Now, you can only purchase tier 1 of the unassembled pieces this way. However, you can turn in tier 1 pieces along with unassembled components to upgrade them to tier 2 and 3 respectively. And we'll talk a bit more about that later, because it's the way the PvP upgrade used to work, except need all this other crap as well, rather than just a straight trade with for Warzone comps anyway. And the unassembled gear piece vendor, and those are the ones we actually trade in the unassembled gear pieces for the gear.
Wow.
Yeah. Awesome. Now, also, in addition, they have added to help your alts level CXP faster. All of this is coming in Game Update 5.1. They've added the following to help your alts level faster. A new character legacy perk, 5 tiers of it, and obviously each one will be, often they're a fixed price. You'll be able to presumably spend credits or cartel coins for each tier. Maybe they're tied to your legacy level, as the higher tiers used to be for the other things, or not. Anyway, there are 5 of them, and each one you unlock will grant 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10%. Each 5 tiers of this new legacy perk. Now, the way they usually do this is every tier grants a certain percentage, and they add up. So if anyone can do a quick bit of math, 12, 20, that would be a 30% total, I believe. Boost if you get all 5 tiers of that legacy perk. Alright, so there's that, and obviously that's not legacy wide. You would have to do that on every individual character, because it's a character legacy perk. And I'm gonna bet you, well, I'll guess right now, it ain't gonna be cheap. So save up your credits and or cartel coins. And the other thing they're adding is the Command XP boost. This is in addition to the one that will be on the cartel market and does not stack with it. So you can either run the one from the cartel market, which I believe gives you a 25% boost, and this one, which gives you a 15% boost. And these ones only work for each tier. So as you climb from Command Rank 1 all the way to Command Rank 300, there are 3 tiers, Tier 1, 2, and 3, at different breaks. And I can't remember which command ranks are which. Is it 100, 200, 300?
I thought it was 90 for Tier 2, 180 for Tier 3.
Thank you. So,
Don't
whatever that is.
Though.
It probably mentions it somewhere in this post. I don't actually remember seeing it written down anyway. But anyway, so let's go with that. To get the 15% boost for command tokens, that's that legacy-wide currency you get from the crates, Tier 1 boosts will cost 20 command tokens, Tier 2 will cost 28 command tokens, and Tier 3 will cost 44 command tokens. So just to clarify, what Liba told us, she was basically correct. Tier 1 is 1 through 80, Tier 2 is 81 through 180, and then Tier 3 is 181 through to command rank 300. So those are your 3 tiers. Oh boy. So, sorry. There's a lot of stuff they just dumped on us. So let's keep going. Operations, they did comment that they are not granting enough CXP just in those things that drop from each boss, completely separate from the gear, command XP. They agree, but they're not fixing it 5.1. You are going to have to wait to game update. Sorry, you're going to have to wait to 5.1.2 5.1 for that, and they haven't actually said when that's going to be. Probably a week or two after 5.1.
Okay.
And all that stuff to help your alts level up through command ranks. We just talked about what they're adding already, but they may be adding more stuff beyond that. They don't reckon it's probably enough. So if you want to level up your alts through CXP ranks, you may want to or command ranks, you may just want to wait a little bit until they finally work out what the hell they're going to do. Speaking of that, command rank leveling speed, they're still monitoring it because they reckon the speed may be a bit slow, so maybe they're going to sort of flatten that curve a little bit to speed things up. When they're talking like this, I keep wondering, why would you do it now? Why not just wait until they finally get everything sorted and then level up through command ranks? But, well, so that would mean you stop playing the game, and that would be a little silly, isn't it?
And then they wouldn't have the data to see how well we were going.
Yeah, that's true. That would be. So, all right, everyone, keep playing, and yeah, sure.
Well,
Move along.
Yep.
Yeah, I've just done a little maths, and I reckon there's probably about 2,640 of those tokens by the time you get to 300.
Holy, that's a lot of tokens. But it turns out everything's kind of expensive, so, well, I guess you'll see in a second. Now, finally, new endgame content. There is a new stream on this Thursday, January 26th, where they are going to talk about what they're adding. They mention new daily areas and operations, and that's apparently what they're going to be talking about. So we will talk about that on the next show. So we'll record the show a couple of hours after that live stream. All right, now let's get into the detail about those unassembled gear pieces, the one you get from operations. So they've actually come out and said how they drop, and it turns out, remember, guaranteed drop from the last boss in operations, and for the single boss, the lair bosses, they are indeed dropping guaranteed pieces. We were wondering if they were going to do it like this, and yes they are. Let's specifically, the golden poodle on Makeb drops the bracer, and the world breaker monolith on Zeus drops the belt. So basically the lesser two pieces, bracer and belt, are from the lair bosses.
Okay. I wouldn't necessarily call them lesser two pieces though, because they've got set bonuses on them.
They do too now, don't they?
Yeah,
you're
so
right.
You're basically going to end up, you could go in, do the golden poodle once, get your set piece, but in order to get, bear in mind you need 2 implants and a year piece, you'll end up doing Eternity Vote 3 times.
Yeah.
But you need 2 relics, so you'll end up doing Cragger's Palace at least twice.
That's true. Unless they drop randomly from the other bosses. So let's just remember, to get to these end bosses, typically you will go through a bunch of others and they will drop a bunch of pieces as well. So you may not have to, but yeah, you're right. Depending on how random it is. Is it really every gear piece is a random chance to drop, or some are more than others? Don't know. But alright, so bracers also drop from the Eyeless. That's the lair boss in the Rakghoul event when that's up. And belt also drops from Xenoanalyst, the boss in the Gree event up in the Grey Secant. So you do have a second opportunity, but obviously only while those events are running. Now for the others, Earplants and Earpiece drop from Soa at the end of Eternity Vault. As Blade just mentioned, relics drop from Karaga, last boss in Karaga's Palace. The chest piece drops from Warlord Kethis, how appropriate in Explosive Conflict. The legs drop from the Terror from Beyond in the Terror from Beyond. Hands from Scum and Villainy from Dreadmaster Styrak, the last boss. And from the Dreads, we get boots from Dreadmaster Brontes in Dread Fortress, and the headpiece from the Dreadmasters at the end of Dread Palace. The main hand is from Revan in the Temple of Sacrifice, and the offhand from Rugar, Pirate Rugar at the end of the Ravagers. I've always wondered if he's Australian based on his accent. Anyway, just by the by. So anyway, that's how they've done. It's basically a fair spread across the operations. And you want a specific piece, you know exactly now which operation to go to get it. Now, these are Tier 1 and Tier 2 gear pieces will be dropping based on story mode in veteran mode. To get the masterpiece, and the way this essentially works, and obviously not as many operations have a nightmare mode or master difficulty as it is called now. So let's just run through it. In Warlord Kefis in master mode of Explosive Conflict drops the relic and implant. The Terror from Beyond in master mode drops legs and earpiece. Scum and Villainy drops Styrak, that is, drops the head and chest. In Dread Fortress, Brontes drops boots and offhand, and Dread Palace, the Dread Masters drop the head and main hand. These to get the tier 3 pieces in master difficulty. Now for the implant, this drops from the Ravagers. It has a chance to drop in veteran mode. So
Okay.
no master mode, so you do have to do it in veteran to get the tier 3 piece, but it's just a random chance from the last boss of Ruga. To get the tier 3 relic, it's a random drop in veteran mode in Temple of Sacrifice from Revan, again last boss. Braces from the Golden Fury, or the Eyeless in the Rakul event, has a chance to drop in veteran mode. And the belt has a random chance to drop tier 3 belt from the World Breaker Monolith in veteran mode on Zios, or from Zeno in Grey event.
Okay.
Oh my god.
As a raider, I'd say, seriously, only a chance for it to drop from some of the hardest content in the game? Only a chance?
Veteran mode, Blay, veteran mode. It's guaranteed in master mode, guaranteed.
Okay. I would put veteran mode, Temple of Sacrifice up against Nightmare mode, Eternity Vote. Not Eternity Vote, sorry. Explosive Conflict. I would say it's much harder.
No, well, I would have to get an expert on that to...
I think the number of guilds who have completed the old hard mode in Temple of Sacrifice versus the number of guilds which have completed Nightmare mode in Explosive Conflict, I think there'd be a lot more.
Right. Okay, so anyway, believe it or not, we haven't finished yet, because now we're going to talk about the unassembled components. Remember that other currency that they added for people who don't do operations? Remember, this is your way to get unassembled gear pieces for non-raiders. Alright, now, firstly, how many components do you get? I'm glad you asked. War zones. If you win, you get 5. If you lose, you get 2. That's just an 8-man war zone. From arenas, if you win, you get 3. If you lose, you get 1. Solo ranked. If you win, you get 5. You lose, you get 2. Group ranked. Group ranked PvP. Obviously, these are arenas, solo and group. You get 8 if you win and 3 if you lose. And as I alluded to earlier, Galactic Starfighter. If you win a Galactic Starfighter match, you get 8. And if you lose, you get 3.
Wow.
Yeah. Again, they are definitely incentivizing people to play Galactic Starfighter. Now, so those are all the actual unassembled components you get. How about how much they cost? So here are the costs to purchase Tier 1 unassembled gear pieces. So remember, chest, legs, head, hands, and feet all cost 100 unassembled gear pieces. So basically, if you just were winning war zones, that would be 20 wins or 50 losses. You would have enough to buy 1 chest piece, legs, heads, or hands, or feet. Waist and wrist cost 75. Implants, earpieces, and relics cost 80. And your weapons, your main hand, your offhand, 120 each. So, yeah.
That's quite a few.
It's quite a few, so no one's going to just be rolling through war zones, a handful of war zones, and just gearing up. You have to do a lot. And I haven't done the math, but I suspect the way of getting the gear this way through PvP is a lot slower than the sort of faster, accelerated version where they changed for Warzone comms. Can anyone speak to that? Just how fast it used to be to earn Warzone comms and get gear? It just seemed slower.
Well, I used to be able to get a full set of the beginner piece within a couple of hours of playing
Yeah.
Warzones.
That's what I thought. So, but remember, there is no PvP gear anymore. It's all the same thing. So, in terms of time invested, it's a lot of time.
Right.
Now,
Well, you're still getting CXP as well, so
Yeah.
true.
you're still getting chances at gear from the boxes and
Good point.
So
Good
on.
point. Yeah, thank you for pointing that out. Now, to get those unassembled gear pieces using the components, you can only do that directly for Tier 1. For Tier 2 and 3, you have to trade in a unassembled gear piece, or an actual gear piece, it seems, along with more components. More components. And let's see if these are the prices for Tier 2. For chest, legs, head, hands, and feet are 150 to go up to Tier 2, and 225 to go up to Tier 3. For your waist and wrist, it's 115 for Tier 2, 175 for Tier 3. For your implants, earpieces, and relics, 120 for Tier 2, 180 for Tier 3. And finally, weapons, main hand and offhand, 180 components to upgrade to Tier 2 and 270 to Tier 3.
Wow.
Oh my
Okay.
goodness. Yes, so wow. Now I could be wrong, but I suspect the best way to gear up at the moment is through operations.
Quite possibly, yeah.
But of course operations have lockouts. I suppose that's worth thinking about at least, and so you can't just blow through your operations over and over and over again. You have to do them one a week. Yeah.
Yeah, not only that, but you've only got a chance again the piece because you're still in a team, and if you're in an 8-man team, you got a 1 in 4 chance of actually getting a piece.
And to think one of the reasons I introduced the system was to simplify gearing and eliminate vendors. Originally, with the holds. Was RNG really that bad, people? Really?
Come
it
play
was,
again then.
That's incredible. Alright.
They could have, yeah, I mean, I guess the other way would just be to greatly reduce the amount of CXP you need to get to the next level, thereby making the long term come a lot quicker.
Yeah. Alright, so we haven't actually finished yet because, believe it or not, to actually trade in, once you actually spent all the components and got your unassembled gear pieces, or got the unassembled gear pieces directly from operations, you've actually got to finally trade them in for the actual gear itself, and then you can actually get the gear and put it on your character and get some benefit out of it. And so, for Tier 1, 2, and 3, you also have to spend command tokens. Remember those command tokens you get out of the crates as well? So yeah, it's not just simple trade-in. So for the chest, legs, head, hands, and feet, it would cost you 10 tokens for Tier 1, 15 for Tier 2, and 24 for Tier 3. In addition to the unassembled gear pieces.
Right.
Oh my god. How's anyone going to keep track of this crap? For waist and wrist... Yeah, thank you. Waist and wrist, let's see, 7 for Tier 1, 10 tokens for Tier 2, 15 for Tier 3. Implants, earpieces, and relics, 8 for Tier 1, 12 for Tier 2, 18 for Tier 3. Main hand and offhand, God, 12 for Tier 1, 18 for Tier 2, 28 for Tier 3. What's the bet none of this is final and they're going to actually tweak these numbers? Well, probably not for 5.1, but I wonder going forward, how do they keep track of this? And in case you were wondering, the gear that you get for Tier 1, item rating 230, Tier 2 is 236, Tier 3 is 242, which I believe is the same you get out of the crates for the various tiers at the moment through RNG. Remember that much simpler RNG?
Okay, so looking at this then, what we can basically say is that for Tier 1, for each command crate, you get in 5 of the tokens. So
Yes.
you need 2. So on average, it's looking like you need 2 levels, 2 command crates in order to get 1 set of armor.
That's not very much, is it?
No, and that's fairly consistent for all of the levels. because you're getting 5 for the first one.
Yep.
You get 8 for the second one, and you need 15. So okay, you need slightly less than 2 levels there. And then for tier 3, you're getting 12 per level, and you need 24 in order to get a piece. So
Yeah.
it's staying fairly consistent. You need on average 2 pieces. There's 14 items that you need to get, so 28 levels of command crates, and that's it. You've actually got enough tokens to be able to get every single piece of armor.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
And
which is really low, considering. That's pretty low. 28 levels.
That's true. Now, it's also worth noting that if you're an experienced raider and you happen to have done these operations before, and if you're an experienced raider, you've done all of these operations before, you can probably go straight to veteran mode in whatever gear you currently have, and like go straight to the tier 2 pieces, or even tier 3 if you can actually manage Nightmare in your current gear without going to the tier 2 gear first. So you could just skip levels. Or remember, that option is only open to doing this via raiding via operations. If you're doing it via the upgrades with unassembled components, you've got to have the previous tier to upgrade to the next tier. But you could actually get those pieces straight out of operations if you wanted, if you're playing both PvP and operations. So the whole system makes sense. I guess it's really complicated, but it does make sense. And keeping track of all those numbers, no one's ever going to do that. They'll just make sure they got enough to purchase what they need. Yeah. All right. Sorry, Blair, you got something to say?
Yeah, so based on all this, then, what I can actually say at the moment is that we've now got 2 systems. You've got the very, very fast CXP leveling and getting new command crates via PvP, but you've got to do a lot of them in order to be able to get gear and pieces. And then you've got the much slower command crate grind of using operations, but much easier way of getting the pieces themselves. So you only need 2 levels, but by the time you've actually ground enough of those unassembled pieces for PvP, you will have gone up much more than 2 levels, surely. You probably would have gone up about 10 by the time you managed to grind for 1 piece.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems to be now that the best way is probably to do a bit of a mix. Do a bit of PvP in order to get the command levels quite quickly, but then jump straight into an operation and go and get the actual piece, rather than using PvP to actually get the pieces.
So Sequa says, please explain to me exactly how this is better than the crystals. This is just bonkers.
Well, I'm not going to justify that one.
Yeah. Oh my god. I suspect once it's all running, people get used to it fairly quickly. But bloody hell. Could they have done this simpler? Just say the pieces just drop from each boss in operations. Imagine that. But as far as getting them from PvP, well, I guess they had to do it somehow, and this is the somehow. Yeah, anyway. You know, this has got all of the signs of an engineer having come up with this. Sorry to say. Anyway, inside joke. Alright, anything else to say on that? It all comes next Tuesday, game update 5.1. Alright. And while I did have other things to talk about, we ran out of time because there was all of this. So, that's the news.
All right. That'll bring us to the Force Feedback, where we read out your tweets and emails. And first, thanks to our latest Utini patron, the famous Dr. Swotor.
Thank you, Daniel.
Yes, our favorite psychologist.
Indeed.
All right. So thank you for that. And thank you for Dirty Dancing Dwayne for the iTunes review. Title, love the show. Reviewer name, Dirty Dancing Dwayne, Country, USA. 5 stars. And comment, this show makes you want to play SWTOR 24/7. Love it. Click subscribe.
Thank you, mate. Thank you very much. And if you haven't done an iTunes review for us, it would be really, really, really useful too, because through some technical issues. We kind of fell off the iTunes charts, so we kind of would need a little bit of help to get back on. So if you could just do us a little iTunes review, that'd be great. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Hawk wrote in, evolution of a streaming channel is once again evolving. The major announcement is that on January 15th of this year, I'll be switching homes on Twitch. The new channel will be, and then it's twitch.tv/streaminghawk with an E at the end.
Right.
Instead of his old one, which was Hawk, and then a bunch of numbers after it. The reasoning behind it is twofold: to keep the brand, yes, I'm branding myself, of Streaming Hawk consistent, and it's best to do it now while I'm small. The schedule will stay the same. SWTOR will be the primary game, but there will be 2 nights a week where I play other story games. There will also be a night where there will be SWTOR group content played. These are the for sure things going on. What isn't for sure is other features of the stream. I want it to grow and expand, so I'd like to grow the community first and foremost, getting people to interact with me in chat and have them come back for more rounds. I have said this numerous times throughout my streams. I don't feel like I'm putting out a good broadcast if I don't have anybody to talk to on a regular basis. Follows and tips are nice, but I need interaction. Second, I'd like to set up a subscription system through GameWisp, but I don't know what rewards to give. This will also dovetail into the chat currency program. I will set up a system where regulars get a certain amount, subs get more, raiders get a certain amount, lurkers get a certain amount, and so on. I'd like to do streamer and follower interviews, or off and on-stream gaming sessions, or have Streaming Hawk swag made and sell that, or something else entirely. I need your input. I will also be having a website made to showcase every unedited episode of Evolution of a Streaming Channel. Along with that, I'll need emotes made, which brings me to a huge thank you to TX Bone Collector 7 for providing me with the new hot graphics. Your talent is amazing. Everything mentioned above will be my roadmap for 2017. If you want to leave your feedback, hit me up at streaminghawk@yahoo.com or leave me a DM on Twitter @streaminghawk, again with an E at the end, or Facebook, and then it's Streaming Hawk on Facebook as well. Thank you all for your support. Streaming is getting me through a very difficult time in my life. I will be expanding on this in the future. My first test broadcast was August 14th of 2016, and here we are on the first day of 2017, and the channel has grown more than I can possibly imagine. I just want to say personally, thank you all. Your support means a lot to me.
Congratulations, Hawk. Glad it's going so well. That is Streaming Hawk.
And Lee Broha, do you want to read this one, or do you want me to read it for you?
You can read it.
All right. Well, you wrote, "Hey guys, your production of the podcast is still superb. I still love listening and tuning in live whenever I can. I've been leveling my operative, and I only use the walker that we got as a subscriber bonus at the end of last year." It's kind of cool, isn't it? When designing the walker, it seems they didn't quite take into consideration how tall it is compared to some areas. And it seems like you can see a lot more in certain instances, like so. And then you have a couple of screenshots. Including clipping through, is that the bounty? That is the agent ship, isn't it?
Agent ship.
That's funny. And it's
Oops,
like poking right out of it into the actual hangar, the hangar that the ship is in. That's funny. Yeah, it is a tall one. I've noticed that too, but I haven't seen any clipping issues like this. That's rather funny.
Blade, did I see your cat attempt to levitate behind you?
Yes.
Yes. Was that Blade or Simkin?
That was definitely Blade. That was the size of it.
He's a monster! Anyway.
All right. Darklighter wrote in, "So I, like so many others, have addicted myself to Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. My question then is, are the characters in it considered canon? It's been made with Disney approval and has HK-47 as a playable character."
Oh my god, have they managed to slip the BioWare characters into canon? Anyway, I did a little bit of research, and we actually have some somewhat definitive tweets from Pablo Hidalgo from the Star Wars Story Group. That is the new story group that was created when Disney took over and sort of legendized all the old canon. And he was actually asked explicitly, "I notice HK-47 is in it. Galaxy of Heroes, that is. Does that mean he's canon now? And Pablo says, I wouldn't assume so. Galaxy of Heroes is very meta / sandbox / do what you want kind of game, and more fun for it. Now, someone else then said, if someone appears, wouldn't it be canon if that individual exists? There's no lore associated in game. Pablo says, that particular game has no narrative. That is, Galaxy of Heroes has no narrative, so there's no story foundation for any of the characters to be there.
Okay.
But now later, he did tweet out, if it was entirely and only up to him, yes, Darth Revan would be canon. And she'd be as awesome as I remember her. Because, of course, you can play
Trolling.
Revan as in KOTOR as male or female. But of
This
course,
is true.
anyway, yeah. Then someone again asked him, is HK47 canon? And the answer again is, Galaxy of Heroes is free and encouraged to pull from all of EA's active Star Wars titles, be they Legends or canon. So that's it, Dark. Sorry to say, mate, but it's quite definitive from the story group. Galaxy of Heroes has characters that are legend as well as canon, which means that, sadly, everything from BioWare's, all of BioWare's creations, like Darth Revan and HK47, remain legend.
Yeah, in fact, in that way, it is in fact also confirming that fact that they're not pulling in the BioWare stuff at all. Oh well, we're still enjoying it over here in our little corner over here of the Star
Indeed.
Wars world. All right, was there anything else?
Don't think
Any other
so.
questions? Okay.
No, we ran kind of much longer. Well, we're fine now, but there was a whole lot more news, which would have pushed us way over.
I see. Okay then, that's a show. If you'd like to play with us in the Utini Knights Guild on the Republic side of the Harbinger server, or in our Guild on the Empire side, do a /c join Utini to join the Utini channel. Then let us know you're a fan of the show. You can email questions and comments about the show to OotiniCast@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter using @OotiniCast. You can find contact details for all of us on our website, OotiniCast.com, which includes how to subscribe to us using iTunes, Stitcher, and the rest. We record the show live every Thursday at 4:30 p.m. Pacific. Go to OotiniCast.com/live to find out how to join in. Our theme song is Doomsday by Jean-Paul Zogby. And thank you to the chat room. And thank you to our guests, Blay and Liba Roja.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Always fun.
And we'll see you next week.
All right, you two, or everyone, keep recording, please. Just keep it running.
Okay.
Everyone else.
Let me shut the... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Hold on. Chill. Get off that. Thank you, everyone, for watching. We'll be back next week, hopefully on the normal time. Actually, I see no reason why we wouldn't be on the normal time, which would be Thursday afternoon, 4:30 p.m. Pacific. It's normal day, normal time. We will be talking about Game Update 5.1 and all the stuff I was going to cover this week, which I didn't. So, everyone, thank you again for watching, and may the Force be with you, and or serve you well. Enjoy your week. Take us out, Chill.
All right.